Did you pick your house? Or did your house pick you?
On Haunts for Sale or Rent, what's a realtor to do when his listing is a little too active? And spirit medium Concetta Bertoldi finds out what's really going on with some hot properties. I caught up with Concetta at another rumored paranormal hotspot. This house is in Blauvelt, New York.
Concetta, this is amazing property. The house was built on the actual footprint of a barn. So the property could be a couple of hundred years old. I know this place was settled sometime in the 1700s by the Dutch. People say that, you know, we got some activity going on, that there might be some ghosts. I mean, they've reported issues about like getting locked in rooms and windows and faucets running all the time. And what do you, I mean, are they a little nuts or do we have the real thing?
No, sweetie, they've got the real thing here, honey. This house is so haunted. It's absolutely amazing. You can feel the energy even as you walk around the property. There were a lot of people who died here and a lot of people who suffered here, unfortunately. There were women that had abortions here way before it was ever legal. And there is also a very old woman who is right behind me all the time wanting to tell her story. I'll tell you what, if you hung around here long enough, I bet you she'd show you some evidence whether you like it or not.
I want to go home.
Welcome to my world. She's got a lot of things that are happening. These people aren't even noticing. The lights are going on and off, the water's being turned on and off. And I would venture to say that there's a woman in there touching them while they're sleeping. They probably wake up in the middle of the night thinking somebody pulled the covers off them. There's a lot of activity on this property.
Concetta, this is Dawn. Dawn owns the house. We heard, Dawn, that you were having a little visitations that you weren't expecting, and I thought maybe, you know, you'd tell us about it.
Well, we've had a lot of activity in the house. It started with the water faucet in our bathroom sink. Every night at 2 o'clock would be turned on full force, and I would have to get up and shut it. And I kept telling my husband this was happening. He didn't believe me until it happened one night, and he heard it, and he got up, and he had the plumber come the next morning. Wow. And there was no explanation. Nothing was, you know, malfunctioning. He said somebody has to physically be turning this faucet on.
Have they done anything else besides?
Oh, there have been a lot of different things over the years, but one of my favorites is just before Halloween. We have storage areas that run the length of the house, and I went in one storage area to get some Halloween wrapping for a package I was sending to my nieces. Right. And as I got to the back of the storage area, I heard the door close. And it was 9 o'clock in the morning. I had a whole busy day planned. It was locked. And I chiseled away at the mortise lock all day to no avail. And I was actually in tears about 2 o'clock in the afternoon because I thought, nobody's gonna know I'm in here.
Right.
And I started to cry. And I said, okay, the joke is over. I've had enough. The door opened.
That's an amazing story, that really is. But the truth is there's a lot of activity in all of our homes. But the old ones, they have the most.
Well, the activity in this house seems to be concentrated on the 3rd floor.
I'll tell you my feel on it is that there were some kind of abortions done up there. And that on that 3rd floor was where babies were born, or maybe there was a hospital here of some sort.
Well, this was the Blauvelt Hospital during the 1930s.
Oh, it was. Okay,
Yeah,
so then I was right. I wouldn't worry about a thing. They're loving you and protecting you every moment that you stay here.
I'm not afraid.
Good, I'm glad to hear that.
Talking about water, I really could use a drink about now, so why don't we go have one? Let's go.
Remember Rich Ellis and his otherworldly encounter? Well, let's take him up on that offer to have a look inside his fabulously haunted house.
Concetta, this is Rich Ellis. Rich is the owner-broker of Ellis Sotheby's International Realty in the village of Nyack.
How do you do?
Hey, Concetta, great meeting you.
It's a pleasure to meet you, too.
And this obviously is his beautiful home that he bought 11 years ago.
Yes, that's
It's
right, Lisa.
magnificent. I'd really love to know some of the history here.
Well, when I bought the house 11 years ago, the previous owner had told me about activity that she had in the house. She had things happen. The fireplace right back here, one day the wood in it just exploded. Flame into red ambers. She said it was amazing. That same day, I believe, a glass flew off the counter. And then she had a lot of activity with noises in the house and whatnot. And then I bought the house. For the first year or two that I was in the house, I've been here about 11 years, I had activity happen, paintings and artwork coming off the wall. And it didn't happen once, it happened about 6 to 10 times.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah, it is. And,
Not a coincidence, that's for sure.
and one of my favorite painting once somehow landed over a sideboard, over a chair, and landed perfectly on the floor.
Didn't get broken in
Did
any
not,
way.
no,
yeah.
it was perfect. The first year that I was in the house, I had many friends. About a year after I was in the house, I was in the kitchen and I ran downstairs where I have a second refrigerator. It was about 10 o'clock at night. And all of a sudden there was a voice saying, do you know where there's a gas station? And it was an African-American woman who looked like she was dressed in a 1940s dress. And I remember distinctly she had like an evening gown on. It was like purple or lavender satin. I was startled and I said, what? Who are you? And she just repeated again, do you know where there's a gas station, in a very soft voice.
Right.
I had a friend up in the kitchen. He came downstairs and said, what's going on? And he did see her as well, and then all of a sudden she vanished.
But somebody in the house, in the spirit world, is answering me. She was a famous singer. I don't know if she lived in this area, but she was at parties in this area. She was called upon because she sang at all the parties that she went to.
You know, there was, right down the road, there was supposedly a famous nightclub, jazz place.
Wow.
And it was, 3 houses were built there. It's in Piermont on 9W, less than a mile away. And they had a lot of jazz, and up until World War II, apparently it was a very popular place. I love it, I feel comfortable, and it just makes me feel like it's a richer experience living here, to be
I'm
honest.
glad to
That's
hear that,
wonderful.
honey.
That's great. Rich, thank you so much
Thank
for the
you.
time
Welcome.
you've spent and letting us
Lisa,
come into
great.
your
Thank you,
home.
Concetta,
sweetheart.
great meeting
It was
you.
a
Thanks.
pleasure meeting
Thank you
you
very
too.
much.
And you know what? I was thinking, Concetta, what do you think? When you go looking for a place, did you pick your house?
Or did your house pick you?
If you think you hear noises that go bump in the night, email us at hauntsforsaleorrent.com.